We have tacos, turkeys, and Tuco, but only 15 minutes to make dinner. Let's go. TTT-A3.
Although Dennis can't read good, he begins the tacos with a pan over medium heat and some olive oil. Then an all-important pepper.
Now, poblanos are one of my favorite peppers. They're great flavor and mild in terms of spiciness, somewhere between 1,000 and 2,000 Scovilles, whereas a jalapeno is somewhere between 2,500 and 6,000. The redder, the spicier. We're gonna go ahead and slice and dice this and put it into the pan. You could also use other peppers like serranos or jalapenos, but I find poblanos work really, really well in this recipe.
He dices the dark yet vibrant green chili from Puebla, Mexico into small pieces. Then with the aid of a shovel, he wisps away the ancho to the hot pan, which apparently is not that hot yet. But that's okay. He sprinkles a little sodium chloride and cleans, because ants. After it's time to prepare the spices. To a container he adds vampire repellent, some dry tear inducer, leaves from a twig, hot dog condiment, and of course some optional yet highly recommended red cayenne pepper.
Dennis, Tuco. I have 15 minutes before I must leave. Quickly, let's eat. It's the meat. As always, fresh. No se preocupe, señorita. No es su prima. A half pound.
Now that the peppers are sizzling, it's a perfect time to add the turkey. He pushes the meat around a bit, adds some salt, some pepper of the black variety, and of course our special spice mixture. The meat is then mixed to ensure the spices experience a decent amount of dispersion and the meat is allowed to cook.
So why turkey? Because beef is too expensive and turkey I can get for free. Did you hunt that turkey? Yes. Oh, awesome. Well, if you get your turkey from the store like most people, I recommend you get 93% lean. This will give you a little more fat, a little more flavor, and cook a little nicer rather than just burn. Next, it's time to prep the tortillas. Now, I'll be using these small street-style pre-made flour tortillas. These are low carb and work really well. Usually I'd use my tortilla recipe, but I'm out because I ate them all and they take a little bit longer to make. You can also use the great 90-second tortilla recipe from Steve over at Serious Keto, but I don't currently have a microwave. I'm gonna place these tortillas in the skillet over medium heat, which will give them that little extra je ne sais quoi, helps keep the tacos a little sturdier and resistant to sauces. I've also found that the optimum amount of meat per taco is 1.5 to 2 ounces, depending on the size of the tortilla. For these small ones, I'm gonna go with 1.5 ounces, so I'll need about 5 tortillas.
We check on the tac to make sure it's cooking well, and then it's time to prepare the toppings. First, he tackles the cheese, for which he is using a Mexican crumbling cheese, a fitting name as it crumbles when touched. However, you can also haphazardly cut the cheese into tiny cubes if that's easier. It's best to use a mild cheese and not something like a strong cheddar. Next, he picks a very polarizing herb, cilantro. However, if cilantro tastes like soap to you, simply avoid this garnish. No need to complain in the comments. Once set aside, we again check on our meaty goodness. It's about the right level of crispy brown bits, so it's time to fetch our tortillas. Having simply warmed them up, they're still soft and pliable. You can, however, flip and warm them from the other side. Back at the board, it's time to plate. You can use a fancy taco holder, but he doesn't have one, so he simply lines them up side by side. The meat is then ever so carefully placed inside each taco, with the predetermined amount of 1.5 ounces. The optimal amount of meat for each bite, and not so much that the taco would fall apart.
The best salsa for these tacos is actually a sauce that I'm not particularly a big fan of, salsa verde. But with turkey, this salsa is absolutely delicious. And since we're on a time crunch, we're going to be using a pre-made salsa verde, and one of my favorites is this. Except this one's kind of empty because I've been eating these tacos quite a bit.
Amigo, you worry too much. I've got you covered.
Awesome. Medium salsa works great. You could also use pico de gallo, but again, since we're under a time crunch, we're going to use these.
A little salsa as the base on top of the meat, some cheese to follow, crumbled between the fingers of course, some soap of a garnish, and then some special onions.
Pickled onions are an absolute staple in my fridge. I love the flavor, the crunch, and just the brightness they bring to a dish for literally no calories. They also work really well in a pinch when you don't have any limes, and they add that little bit of citrus and acidity to a dish which is just unbelievable, especially in tacos.
You can add as little or as much pickled onions as you'd like, or even pickled jalapenos, or just plain old diced onions. Then it's time to eat.
A little more sauce.
Just the right meatiness, not too greasy like carnitas, and just feels fresh. Really, oh, it's so good.
Now that is a good taco.
Why do you call it TTT3A?
Tuco's Turkey Taco Recipe 3, Version A.
What's version 2?
Time to go.
Wait. Make sure to check out one of these other videos, how to make great tacos and tortillas. We'll see you in the next one.